Have you ever looked at a building and just felt like it belongs? Like it literally grew right out of the ground it's standing on? Well, I can tell you, that feeling is no accident. It's the result of this really deep, fascinating process that starts way before anyone even thinks about drawing a single line. And it all begins with understanding the place itself.
I mean, just look at this. This isn't just some house plopped down on a cliff. No way. It's woven into the cliff. You can see it in the materials, the angles, the way it just soaks up that incredible view. It's like it's having a conversation with its surroundings. This is what amazing architecture is all about. But to get here, you have to start with a really fundamental question. And that, right there, is the big idea we're digging into. Does an architect's job start with an image that just pops into their head? A quick sketch on a napkin? Or does it start by really listening to the story a place is already trying to tell? Well, the answer lies in a process called site analysis. You can think of it as the way architects literally learn to listen to the land. It is the absolute first step that makes all the difference between some generic box and a building that has a real, tangible connection to its environment.
So what is it really? Well, site analysis is basically the detective work of architecture. It's this super thorough investigation of a location to gather every single clue you can find. And the goal isn't just to have a big pile of facts. It's to turn all those observations into clear, visual diagrams that are going to guide every single design decision from that point on. And that gets us to the most crucial point, this right here. Before an architect can even think about designing, they have to understand the foundation of truly great design. It isn't concrete or steel. It's a deep, profound understanding of the place. Okay, so how do they actually do it? How do they get that deep understanding? It's not like they just wander onto a property and scribble a few notes. Nope. They use a really structured approach, looking at the site through 3 totally different lenses, or scales of investigation. This visualizes the whole process perfectly. It's kind of like using a set of zoom lenses on a camera. You start out super wide to get the whole picture, and then you gradually focus in, closer and closer, moving from mega to macro, and finally all the way down to micro.
First up, you've got the mega scale. This is your 30,000-foot view. We're asking, how does this one little spot fit into the whole city? Where are the big highways, the airports, the major urban hubs? It's all about understanding those big picture connections. Then we zoom in a bit to the macro scale. Now we're looking at the neighborhood itself. What's going on right next door? What do the other buildings look like? What about the street patterns, the local parks? The whole vibe of the area. It's all about context. And finally, we zoom all the way in to the micro scale. Now we are on the ground, boots on the dirt, looking at the property itself. What's the slope of the land? What kind of trees are here? What does the wind sound like? How does the afternoon sun hit that one specific spot? Every tiny little detail matters here. Okay, so the architects have used their zoom lenses, they've looked at the site from every angle. Now what? Well, now they follow this clear 3-step process to turn all that raw data into a really powerful design concept. This is how they get from a bunch of clues to an actual concept. The process breaks down just like this. First, you've got research. That's just gathering all the info. Second, analysis. You take all that data and start looking for patterns, for important relationships. And third, synthesis. This is where the magic happens. You combine all those insights into a core idea that's going to shape the entire project. So what kind of clues are we talking about in that research phase? Oh, it gets incredibly detailed. Architects will literally chart the path of the sun across the sky for the entire year. They'll map out the dominant wind patterns. They'll pinpoint the most important views that you have to capture. They collect temperature data, map out the roads, and even check out the local coffee shops. It is a full-on data gathering mission. So this all sounds pretty cool in theory, right? But let's see how it actually works in the real world. We're going to check out a case study for a hotel in Alala. That's a desert region in Saudi Arabia, and we'll see exactly how the story of a place becomes a physical structure. So here is the analysis phase in action. On the left, you see a wind rose diagram. It shows that on this site, the wind almost always comes from the north and northwest. And on the right, they've mapped the sun's path right over the site. See, these aren't just abstract charts. This is the climate story told visually. And boom, this is the synthesis. This is the payoff. Take a look at the final site plan. The building's layout, where they put the outdoor spaces, the main entrance, none of that is random. It is a direct response to that sun and wind data we just saw. The design cleverly blocks those harsh winds while making the most of the pleasant sun exposure. The analysis has been synthesized into actual physical form. It's brilliant.
Which brings us all the way back to where we started. Back to that big question. After seeing how architects listen and investigate and synthesize all the clues a place gives them, what do you think? Sketch or story?
The answer couldn't be clearer, could it? The story always comes first. A truly meaningful building is just the final chapter of a story that was discovered through careful, respectful site analysis. The architect's hand? It just writes down the story the land was already telling.
So here's what I want you to take away from this. Architecture is a dialogue. And now you know the language. The next time you're out and about and some building catches your eye, just pause for a second. Look at how it meets the sun, how it faces the street, and ask yourself a simple question. What story is this building telling me?